Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the Z-Power selection ticket. This is technically, what is this campaign called? Celebrate 6 years, choose the Z-Power you want. So we have a selection ticket that was given out to us via missions. If you don't have this ticket, it means you did not complete all the missions. They're very easy to do. It took me, I did them in the first day and I didn't even realize I did them. So I don't really think it takes too much effort to do all those missions to get this ticket. And there are a total of 199 different Sparking characters you can select with this ticket in this exchange shop here. So I'm going to make this video discussing which characters I believe are the ones you should be looking into to decide which ones you should be selecting with your ticket. Now, before we get into the discussion here, I will just mention that the correct character for you specifically is going to mostly hinge upon what your account situation looks like, what characters you usually use, what your star levels are like, stuff like that. So I'm not going to be able to customize this advice to every single player because every single person is going to have a different account. So based off of the information that we have in terms of the characters available here, I did actually, we're going to shift over to Chrome here. I did actually, hold on, this is not the right screen. There we go. You can see that I have an awful lot of tabs pulled up, and some of them are still loading because I have so many pulled up here. I would first like to just go through very, very quickly all these characters because I believe out of the 199 characters that we have available in this exchange shop, these are the only ones that I would really consider to be like decent options here. Now, there are two factors that I looked at when considering which characters are good options. The first one is going to be, is the character at least usable right now in combat? That's one criteria. So that would be a factor that goes into this. And then another factor would be, does the character have good bench potential? And I think that is something that's more so going to apply to most of these options here. Most of the characters that I selected, except for like 4, I believe, are Zenkai characters. And for the most part, you're not really going to get much mileage out of these Zenkai characters in actual combat because a lot of them are very old, and their roles at this point is to be a really good bench character. And what does being a good bench character mean? It means providing a good Z ability plus Zenkai ability combination to the characters that you are going to be bringing into combat. So for the first 4 characters I have pulled up here, these are the ones that are not Zenkai Awakened. So these are number 1, really good bench characters, or number 2, they're going to be actually decent in combat. I think Red Pan start out with, you guys know how good or annoying this character is at this point. I would say that with how old she is, she's certainly not like a top tier contender anymore, but for what she is as a support character that has some decent disrupt, sub count manipulation, green card generation, healing, like she's a very good character still. So I don't really think you could really go wrong with Pan, but I have her here as one of the non-Zenkai options. Revival Frieza, this is more so of a more specific non-Zenkai character because you would really only consider using this character on LOE right now, or Frieza Force, or I guess Powerful Opponent potentially as well. But obviously he is designed to work really well with other LOE characters due to equipment options and stuff like that. Ultra Frieza, if you guys have Ultra Golden Frieza, this is a really good character to run alongside Ultra Golden Frieza, just juicing up his power, making him hit even harder than he does already is a really good option, and especially because he has a Revival. I would actually argue that I think if I were to choose between like Revival Frieza and Pan, who would perform better right now, I would say Revival Frieza would, just because of the Revival. The Revival is just way too important. Next we have Green Mai. Now this character you're not ever going to bring into actual like combat, but Green Mai has probably, I would consider still to be like a top 3 in the game Z ability or something. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Well, maybe not anymore with the 6th anniversary characters at 14 stars, but at 14 stars she's giving 25% HP to future. I am actually like, I don't really understand why they thought that was okay to do. No other character gives 25% HP to like a major tag like this. So this is a character that if they ever Zenkai Awakened, I would actually probably immediately say this character probably has like the best combination of Zenkai plus Z abilities ever. I feel like when they Zenkai this character, they're probably going to have to give her girls as her Zenkai ability because, yeah, things would go insane if they gave her green future, but she's a really good bench character just because 25% health of future is really good. Next, we have Red God Goku. Similar situation to Green Mai. You're never going to use him in actual combat, but he has a really, really good Z ability as well. 22% to max base health and 25% to base critical of God Ki. So a really good God Ki bench character. No Zenkai for this character yet, although I do think that at some point we definitely will see it. But so for these first 4 characters that are non-Zenkai Awakened, this guy's a good bench, This guy's like an okay bench. He's actually probably more than okay. He gives like a lot of blast attack, doesn't he? It's not loading. Okay, it's not loading, but I'm pretty sure he gives like 50% blast damage, like Frieza Force. And then he's also a really good character, I think, to use. Well, not like a really good character, but he's a solid character to use as like a supporting character in combat as well. And then Pan is a good bench character because she does give health, and she is a decent option as a support on your team as well. So next we're going to go through all of these Zenkai characters that I have pulled up here. And then I'll probably start eliminating some of these just because I pretty much have in my mind what I think are the best options to choose from. So first we have Kaioken Goku, who Zenkai awakened during the Frieza Saga campaign. The thing with this character is I think he actually could be a pretty decent option in terms of combat, but his Zenkai plus bench, or Zenkai plus Z ability combination, not the greatest, so I'm actually going to eliminate him right away. This is definitely one of the premier options you could choose, this green Kid Gohan. It's actually crazy to say because this character released and he was really bad on release, but he just recently got his Zenkai awakening and it is very, very good. Let's go ahead and click the Zenkai button here. So his Z ability plus Zenkai ability combination, he's giving 35% to Saiyan Saga, Sun Family, or Regen Blast Attack and Defense, and then his Zenkai ability is giving Green Sun Family these buffs. So when you're looking at Zenkai characters to determine what makes them good bench characters, what you're really looking for is overlap of the Zenkai ability plus Z ability. So because this Green Gohan is giving Green Sun Family the Zenkai ability buff, and he's also giving Sun Family his Z ability buff, what you're targeting with this Green Gohan is to give Green Sun Family characters immensely strong buffs. So let's just take, for example, Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is going to be receiving 40% blast attack from the Zenkai ability, plus 35% blast attack from the Z ability. So this Revival Gohan by himself is giving that Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, let's just go through it, 35% strike attack, 75% blast attack with both of these together, 40% strike defense, 35% strike defense. That is what makes Zenkai characters extremely powerful bench options, and that is the reason why I think this guy is a really, really good pick, on top of the fact that he's actually a really good character to be used in combat right now. So this guy pretty much checks all the boxes that you would want to see out of a character to pick with like a ticket like this, because he's a really, really good bench character, and he's a really, really solid character in combat right now. He's a revival character, so you don't really have to worry about him dying like extremely fast because he's basically 2 lives. And he has a really strong support ability here. Now, granted, it is only applying to Regen or Saiyan Saga characters, but that's pretty good. Regen is a pretty expansive tag. Saiyan Saga just got some really good options as well. So I really don't have anything negative to say about this Gohan. I think they did a really good job designing his Zenkai, and in terms of longevity, I feel like he will definitely stand the test of time as well. So 2 thumbs up for me. This is a really good pick for your ticket. I'm not going to get rid of him at all. Toppo. This is a character that is a green, I believe it's Universe Reps, Zenkai buffer. Nothing really too much else besides that. I mean, he's a good bench for like the Blue Kaioken Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta, decent Z ability as well. Nothing insane, but nothing too bad. I'm going to remove him just because there's definitely better options than this guy. This is actually a character I forgot to put in the non-Zenkai pile. This is the 5th non-Zenkai character on here. The only reason why I even decided to talk about this guy is because of his Z ability. He's not a Zenkai character, and he's not usable in combat whatsoever, but he has a pretty good Z ability, 20% powerful opponent. It's pretty good. I think people actually do use this guy pretty often on bench for powerful opponent, but I think there's better options, so I'm not going to include him here. Next, we have Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. Good bench character, that's really it. They are a Red Movies Zenkai buffer. I think when you're looking at like how expansive a lot of these Zenkai buffs are, that's really important in determining the longevity and how well these characters are going to age. When you talk about a tag like movies is a tag that is always going to be getting many, many buffs moving forward. Saiyans is another one, Sun Family, stuff like that. Those are the types of tags you really want to try and invest into because there's always going to be new and better characters for those teams. This guy being a Red Movies Zenkai buffer is pretty good, but again, I think there's better options, so I'm going to actually remove them here. Next, we have Red Zenkai Revival Cell. This is a really, really good character. I would actually kind of put him in the same category as this Green Gohan because he has a really powerful Zenkai plus Z ability combo, and he's a revival character, and he's actually really good. So he's giving red androids with the Zenkai ability buff, and then he's buffing androids, Regen Blast Attack, and then powerful opponent strike defense here. Really, really strong character, especially really strong when paired up with like Super 17. So absolutely going to leave him on here. Next, we have Purple Zamasu. Nothing crazy, not usable in PvP. I don't really think, but he is a pretty good Zenkai buffer. Purple God Key is pretty expensive, but there's better options, so I will remove him. Red Omega, kind of similar. Actually, I think a bit higher on this character than most people are. He has a really strong green card. AoE green with a lock-in is like ridiculous, I think. He's a red GT Zenkai buffer with a decent Z ability, but I think there's better characters on here, so I'm going to remove him. This guy, I was even considering not putting him on here anyway, but I just think it was worth mentioning. He's a green, I think he's green GT, isn't he? Let's make sure. Yeah, green GT Zenkai ability with actually like a pretty mediocre Z ability. It's only one stat here. So just figured I'd mention because green GT I think is probably going to be pretty decent, but let's just get rid of him because he's okay. This guy's pretty good. Fairly recent Zenkai, came out during the Cell Saga celebration a few months ago. So this Trunks with his Zenkai ability is buffing red hybrids, which is a pretty expansive tag. And then on top of that, he is doubling up the Zenkai and Z ability by continuing to buff hybrids with the Z ability here. And then also Vegeta Clan gets a buff as well. So overall, this is a really strong bench option. And a decent character to be used right now. I'll leave him on the list. I think he's worth considering for sure. This guy is one of the more recent Zenkais for sure. This guy is Zenkai'd. I think it was this guy Zenkai'd and then this kid Gohan Zenkai'd after him, but they were both part of the Saiyan Saga celebration. This is a character I would actually say, if you look at like all of the units on this list, this is probably the most viable character in combat right now. Him and like Gohan and Cell. These three I would say are like the most viable characters, and you could probably even make an argument for this guy just because of how stupid Golden Frieza is. But this guy's really strong. I really like the way that they designed this character. Now I will say, when it comes to longevity, I could see this guy probably falling off a bit faster than Gohan and Cell, just because number one, Gohan and Cell have revivals, and this character doesn't have as good of a combination of Z ability and Zenkai ability, because for whatever reason they gave this guy Blue Saiyan Saga for his Zenkai ability. I mean, I understand why it was the Saiyan Saga celebration, but it's fine. Saiyans for his Z ability is pretty good, and then he technically does have a double up here of the Zenkai and Z ability combination with Saiyan Saga, but Saiyan Saga is not one of those tags that I mentioned earlier that's like always going to be receiving more buffs as the game continues. So he's a really, really, really powerful character to be used in combat right now. But in terms of his bench longevity, definitely not as strong as Gohan or Cell. But just because he's insanely good right now in PvP and actually like usable, if you have him Zenkai'd, I'm going to leave him on the list because he's definitely a solid option. Like if this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning with like your account situation being dependent upon who you're going to choose. Like if you have this character at 6 stars and you purchasing 600 Z power for this guy gets him to 7 stars to Zenkai him, I would very obviously say yes, please please pick up the last copy you need for this character. But again, that's just a very specific situation, so you're gonna have to make that determination on your own. Purple 21 is a pretty good bench character. She buffs purple. This is a very rare situation where we actually have an HP buffer with her Z ability that also doubles up with her Zenkai ability. Like this is one of the most powerful bench characters in the game. 20% androids or regen health, and then purple android Zenkai ability. Like purple Cell gets so much just power from this character being on the bench. I'm gonna leave her on here because if you're like an androids main and you just love the androids team, this is like an obvious pick if you don't have her Zenkai already. So this is a really good pick for that. Red Rose is a good bench because he does buff red powerful opponent, which is a very, very wide team. But I think there's better options. I'm going to remove him. Same thing with this Super 17. Green Super 17 is a green GT buffer, and then he has overlap with the Z ability, but there's better options, so we'll get rid of him. Fusion Android 13. We're kind of going through the motions now. Good character. Good. I mean, not a good character in PvP. This is actually one of the worst Zenkais ever. Like in terms of usability, he was really bad on release. But he has a good Z ability plus Zenkai ability combo, red androids, but there's certainly better options here. Same thing with full power Frieza. He's a good bench character, yellow LOE, plus his Z ability has overlap, but definitely better options here. Same thing with Blue Goku. Blue Goku, he's such an old character though, that his Z ability like buff is only 25%. So even though it is good because of the overlap, right? Blue God Key and then God Key Z ability probably will age pretty well, but there's definitely better options than this guy. Same thing with Green Golden Frieza. Green LOE Zenkai ability does overlap with the Z ability, but there's definitely better options here. Same thing with this guy. Purple God Key overlap with the Z ability and Zenkai ability, but there's better picks. Same thing with Green Broly. I mean, this is a guy I actually frequently use for bench purposes because he's a Movies Zenkai ability. Movies is a very, very big team that will always continue to get buffs, but I actually also would say that this guy actually is one of the characters that received a unique equipment that actually did help a lot. Like, he's actually not bad with his new unique equipment, but If you're somebody who's like newer to the game or haven't really played that much or don't have much resources to invest in it right now, I would say it's not worth focusing on those unique equipments just because there's like other better stuff you should be focusing your time and resources on. But this guy, he's okay. I'm going to remove him because there's better options here. Now this is the same situation as Purple 21. This guy, I'm actually like kind of blown away that they even did this. 20% Fusion Warrior or Hybrid Saiyans, and then Yellow Fusion Warrior Zenkai ability. This is HP. Now, the reason why I'm even more blown away that they did this for Gotenks than for 21 is because Fusion Warriors specifically have a lot of different ways to get health on their bench. And this is a character that's like literally never going to fall off. Like if you're a Fusion Warrior lover and you always use Fusion Warriors, there's like no reason. Like this is a character that is like permanently glued to your bench. Like you're literally never going to remove this guy from your bench almost. Especially now that we have, like if you're somebody who pulled the 6th anniversary Fusing Blue Gogeta, this is the very first character you put on your bench is this guy. So I'm going to leave him on here because this is a really, really valuable bench character. Blue Slug is another just, pretty solid Zenkai buffer. He is blue regen, and then there is overlap with his Z ability, but we will get rid of him because there's better choices. This is a very recent Zenkai. I think this is the most recent Zenkai character before the anniversary? I think so. This red Super Saiyan 3 Goku, unless I'm like blatantly forgetting something, but he's actually pretty good. He is a red Saiyan Zenkai buffer, but the problem with this guy is, although I think he's actually pretty viable in PvP, like he's actually a decent character, his Z ability is really bad. This guy was so old, they gave him red. Element red strike and blast attack for his Z ability, so there potentially could be overlap here, but I hate the Z ability so much that I'm actually going to remove him from the list, even though I think he could be a solid character in PvP and his Zenkai ability is good. Like his Z ability is just really bad. You could definitely go for this guy. If you're like at 6 stars and you need one more copy to get him to 7 to Zenkai him, that's probably worth getting him, but I think there's better options here, so we're going to take him off. Yellow God Vegeta is kind of the same situation for the characters that we've been removing from the list. Yellow God Key, overlap with Z ability, but there's better choices, so we'll get rid of him. Blue Cooler, same thing with LOE. Good Zenkai and Z ability overlap for a blue LOE, but there's better characters here. Purple Broly is a really good character for bench. He is Purple Movies, which again is a really huge tag that will always get buffs, and overlap with Z ability, but there's better characters. Blue Bardock, I put him on here because Blue Saiyans is really, really expansive, especially with the new 6th anniversary Fusing Vegito character. He buffs Blue Saiyans with his Zenkai ability, but then he buffs he just buffs Super. So he buffs Super Saiyans with his Z ability, which is like, that's just old Legends. Like Legends now would never do this. So I'm going to remove him. I think even though he does buff a very, very... Saiyan's like the biggest tag in the game with his Zenkai ability. No overlap with Z ability, kind of hurts though. Purple Chilled, this is a character I think I've talked about pretty much like every single one of these we've done for all the past anniversaries. This is even like, you look at like every single character that we're going to be talking about here in terms of who has the best bench potential. This is probably number one. Like this guy's bench potential is actually unrivaled. Let me show you. 20% max health and 18% health restoration for LOE, and then purple LOE. Do you guys understand how stupid this is? This is better than Gotenks. And this guy has a dumb combination. I don't know. There's no way in good faith I could remove this guy from the list. I would definitely argue that LOE is a bit of a niche team at this point. There's like one super mega dominant unit for LOE, and then the rest of the team is just like sort of built around supporting that one character with Golden Frieza, obviously. This guy is, again, one of those characters, much like Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, much like Purple 21, who you just like permanently attach them to your bench on their respective teams. So if you're an LOE person, if you like LOE, if you frequently use LOE, if you use Golden Frieza, you have him, like there's probably no better character to pick than this guy, but it's going to depend on what you what your account looks like. This is another really good bench option. I mean, technically this guy does have his unique equipment, but at this point his unique equipment is kind of old. He was one of the first. In fact, I think he was probably the first Was he the first? No, I think he was the second. I think Green Fat Boo was first, actually. This was the second ever, I think, unique equipment for a Zenkai character. Really good Zenkai ability. It's purple Saiyans, which is super, super expansive. Again, Saiyan's biggest tag in the game, easily. Purple Saiyans here, and then his Z ability is Saiyan strike, attack, and defense. The only problem here is his 23%. This guy's a pre-first anniversary character, so it's a little low on the stats here, but still a really good combination. I'm actually going to leave him on here because I think it's just Purple Saiyans is just way too big to overlook. This is the first ever Zenkai character that got a unique equipment, Green Fat Boo. He's Green Regen for both of these. Again, I think there's probably better options here. Regen is big tag, but it's not like Saiyan, so I'm going to take him off. And then finally, we have Red Super Gogeta here. Again, good bench character, Red Fusion Warriors. We have 25% Fusion Warrior strike, attack, and defense, and then Red Fusion Warriors for the Zenkai ability. Good overlap, but I'm going to remove him because I think he's a little too niche. Okay, so here's pretty much the lineup of characters that I have here. I think we could we get rid of anybody on here? No, I think these are probably the best characters you could choose here. Yeah, I feel like there's at least some level of even footing with like all these characters in terms of how good they are, either as usable units or bench characters. If I had to say, out of all these characters, regardless of your account situation, who is the best character you can pick from this list, I would probably say this guy. And the main reason why is because not only is he a phenomenal bench character, he is actually a very, very good character in PvP right now. He's a really good usable character in combat. He provides support. He has a revive. He's actually does decent damage. He's got cover changes. Like, this is a really good character. I think Red Cell is probably second place. Again, really good bench utility for his Android setup. Decent character to be used. His revival going to age pretty well, I would say. So these are like the most premium options, I would say, but you really can't go wrong. Again, these characters over here, like 21, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and Chilled, probably a bit more niche in terms of if you actually use like Eloy, if you use Fusion Warriors, if you use androids. This guy is probably a pick where it's like, if you can Zenkai him, if the 600 Z power is going to be enough to get him to 7 stars for you to Zenkai him, probably worth getting this character. And then like Pan is just all-purpose support. This guy is niche if you're an Eloy user. Mai is just, you're investing in the future, in the future for the future tag. God Goku's God Key, which is probably always going to get buffs. And then we have this guy. If I was going to remove one character off this, it'd probably be this character, but it's hard to remove him because Purple Saiyans and then Saiyan Z ability. That's going to age really well, I would think. So these are the different characters that I would say are probably the best. Again, Gohan and Cell, both the Revival Zenkai characters, I would probably put as number 1 and number 2 options just in general. But again, as I said, it's really going to depend on the situation of your account specifically. Let me know down below which character you decided to pick with your ticket. Hope you guys found this video useful, and I'll see you all in the next one.